10,000 workers wake up on Gulf of Mexico rigs on any given day. Two types face completely different fates when the radar turns red. But the way those fates play out is nothing like what anyone outside the industry expects. The rotation is 14 days on, 14 days off. Bunk rooms are shared, small, engineered for function. Sleep is a resource, not a luxury. Hurricane season runs June through November, half the working year under potential threat. How does someone go from a calm 14-day rotation to a full hurricane shutdown at sea? The answer is a 3-phase plan so rehearsed it runs almost automatically, even at 2 in the morning with wind already building outside the porthole. Phase 1 begins the moment a tropical system enters the forecast cone. Meteorologists contracted by the operating companies push weather updates directly to the rig's control room. Communication systems get tested. Helicopter and boat logistics get locked in. Crew manifests are reviewed and updated. Sleep schedules start shifting before a single drop of rain has fallen, because the logistics of moving dozens of people off a steel platform in the middle of the Gulf require lead time measured in days, not hours. Workers who were supposed to rest through the night find themselves pulled into briefings, accountability checks, and equipment walkthroughs. The adrenaline does the rest. Phase 2 is where the platform transforms. Non-essential personnel are evacuated in waves, sometimes dozens of workers departing in a single helicopter cycle, boats running back and forth to shore. Equipment gets secured, lashed down, or shut off entirely. The rig population shrinks, from a full crew to a skeleton team. This is where the story takes a turn nobody expected. Because the skeleton crew that stays behind isn't waiting. They are working harder than anyone. Loose gear becomes a projectile in 100-mile-per-hour winds. Every piece of equipment that can move must be locked before the storm arrives. Phase 3 is the final act for fixed platforms. Wells are shut in, a precise, sequenced process that isolates pressure, seals the wellbore, and confirms integrity at every valve. Once the wells are confirmed secure, the last remaining crew evacuates. The rig goes dark. It goes unmanned. A structure worth hundreds of millions of dollars sits alone in the Gulf with no one on board, waiting for whatever the storm decides to deliver. That's not a typo, by the way. Unmanned. No skeleton crew, no watch officer, no one. Just steel and water. Every phase carries a sleep cost. Rest windows collapse as the storm approaches. Drills interrupt the night. Workers grab 90 minutes here, an hour there, knowing the next alarm could be real. These plans are rehearsed year-round. Nobody improvises on a rig during a hurricane. They execute a script they have memorized in their sleep. Literally. The workers celebrated when the wells shut in clean and the last helicopter lifted off safely. They shouldn't have, because the storm was just getting started, and the platform was now completely on its own. The same discipline that built the offshore industry's safety record was about to destroy it. Two types of rigs operate in the Gulf of Mexico, and when a hurricane forms, they face completely different nights. Fixed platforms are exactly what the name suggests. Steel legs driven into the seafloor, anchored in place, immovable. When a major hurricane tracks toward a fixed platform, the only option is evacuation. The structure stays, the crew leaves. There is no negotiation with physics. These platforms have survived storms that would flatten buildings on shore, but their survival depends entirely on the crew being gone before the worst arrives. The engineering is built for the storm. The humans are not. Dynamically positioned rigs, DP rigs, operate on an entirely different logic. These are floating vessels equipped with powerful thruster systems that constantly calculate and correct their position using GPS, acoustic sensors, and real-time environmental data. They are not anchored to the seafloor. They hold position through continuous propulsion. And when a hurricane approaches, that capability becomes the most valuable thing on the water. A DP rig can move. It can literally drive away from a storm. On DP rigs, companies sometimes make the decision to keep the full crew aboard and relocate the entire vessel to calmer water. No shore evacuation, no helicopter runs, no lost wages, no disrupted rotation. The rig moves, the crew moves with it, and the storm passes over empty water where the drilling site used to be. During Hurricane Helen in 2024, the Bureau of Safety and Environmental Enforcement, BSEE, confirmed that multiple DP rigs moved off location with full crews still on board. They waited out the storm at safe distance, then returned to their drilling coordinates and resumed operations. Same storm system, 2 completely different nights. One crew packed a bag, boarded a helicopter, and sat in a hotel room on shore watching the Weather Channel. The other crew gripped a bunk rail, felt the thrusters humming through the floor, and rode it out somewhere in the open Gulf. One crew lost days of pay, the other never stopped the clock. Picture this. You are in a bunk the size of a large closet. The mattress is pressed against a steel wall. Outside, the Gulf is running 15-foot swells. The rig's dynamic positioning thrusters are working continuously, making micro-corrections every few seconds to hold the vessel on course. You can feel it in your spine. The thruster hum is constant, a low-frequency vibration that replaces silence entirely. There is no quiet on a DP rig in transit. The walls creak as the hull flexes against wave pressure. Bunk rails exist for exactly this reason. Experienced hands know to wedge a boot or a rolled jacket against the rail before they close their eyes, because the mattress will shift and the body will follow it if there is nothing to brace against. Loose gear was already secured before the transit began, because anything that is not locked down becomes a projectile. That is not a figure of speech. A water bottle, a hard hat, a clipboard, all of them become hazards in a rolling sea. Sleep comes in fragments. 90 minutes, then an alarm. A crew accountability check over the intercom. Position update from the bridge. Back down. Another 90 minutes. Another check. The intercom is never fully off during a storm transit. Position updates, weather reads, head count confirmations cycle through on a schedule that the crew knows by heart. But the crew wasn't done yet. Not even close. Because the real test was not the motion or the noise or the broken sleep. It was the mental discipline required to lie down at all. The 2017 Atlantic hurricane season arrived like a verdict. Harvey, Irma, and Maria, 3 major storms, same window, same basin. Harvey made landfall in Texas as a Category 4 after crossing the Gulf, delivering catastrophic flooding to the Texas coast and triggering full 3-phase shutdowns across Gulf offshore facilities. The scale of the logistical response was enormous. Hundreds of platforms, thousands of workers, every phase executed under real storm pressure, not drill conditions. The result was documented and verified. 0 worker deaths, 0 injuries, 0 platform damage on Gulf offshore facilities during the Harvey response. Across hundreds of platforms and thousands of evacuated workers, the system held completely. The industry would look back on this moment and wish they'd made a different call. But in 2017, there was nothing to regret. The offshore sector had executed its most complex mass evacuation in years and walked away clean. The NOIA fact sheet, published in 2018, documented the outcome explicitly, using the 2017 season as the benchmark case for the 3-phase plan's effectiveness. It became the modern industry standard, cited in safety briefings, regulatory filings, and company-level training programs across the Gulf. This wasn't luck, it was muscle memory. Drills repeated so many times that the response became automatic. Workers who had never experienced a real major storm evacuation performed exactly as trained, because the training had been designed to remove the need for conscious decision-making under pressure. The body goes, the hands move, the protocol runs. The system held in 2017 because the people inside it had been built to hold it. Here is what the safety record does not capture: the financial hit. Many Gulf rig workers are paid hourly. When the evacuation order comes and they board that helicopter, the clock stops. Not paused, stopped. The platform is dark, the wells are shut in, and the paycheck is on hold until the company issues a safe return window and the crew is transported back out. A multi-day evacuation during peak hurricane season can mean hundreds to thousands of dollars in lost wages per worker. For a roughneck supporting a family on a single income, that number is not abstract. It is the mortgage. It is the car payment. It is the conversation that has to happen when the phone rings and the spouse on shore asks when you're coming back, and you have to say, you don't know yet. Single-income families on shore are already managing the emotional weight of a partner offshore for 14 days at a stretch. The isolation, the uncertainty, the gap in communication during bad weather. Add financial uncertainty on top of that, and the weight compounds in ways that are hard to measure but impossible to ignore. Some evacuations stretch longer than the original forecast because companies hold the return window until conditions are fully verified safe. Every extra day on shore is unpaid. Every extra day is also a day the worker cannot do anything to change the situation. They wait. They watch the weather. They run the math. That mental math runs in the background even when the worker is trying to sleep. The rig is moving through the Gulf. So is the money. Every hour of transit, every hour of waiting, is an hour not on the clock. That's what it looks like when the storm is over and the headline says 0 injuries. The workers survived. They just didn't get paid for it. The offshore worker had days before the financial pressure became critical, and the clock had already started. The alarm goes off at 3 in the morning. Not because the storm is hit, because it is Tuesday, and Tuesday is muster drill night. Emergency drills on offshore rigs happen at night, mid-shift, during meals, and during the first hour of rest after a 12-hour shift. The timing is deliberate. The goal is not to test workers when they are alert and prepared. The goal is to make the response automatic when they are exhausted, disoriented, and half asleep. Because that is exactly the condition they will be in when a real emergency happens. Muster stations, lifeboat assignments, communications checks, head counts, equipment verification. Workers execute these sequences in the dark, in foul weather gear, with sleep still in their eyes. They do it because they have done it hundreds of times. The body knows the route. The hands know the clasps on the survival suit. The feet know the stairs to the muster deck without needing the eyes to confirm. And this is the part where things stopped being funny. Because the repetition that makes these drills feel routine is exactly what makes them life-saving. The paradox of offshore safety is this: the more you drill for disaster, the less your nervous system treats it as a threat. The alarm fires, the body moves, the brain catches up later. Bunk assignments during hurricane response are not random. Skeleton crew members are staged so that rest rotations can be maintained between preparation tasks. One team secures equipment while another rests. Then they swap. The system is designed to keep everyone functional because a sleep-deprived worker on a storm-affected rig is not just uncomfortable, they are dangerous. Veteran workers describe the drills not as interruptions to sleep, but as the reason sleep is possible at all. When the body has run the emergency sequence enough times, it stops rehearsing it anxiously in the dark. The protocol is already loaded. The body can rest. Rapid intensification is the phrase that changes everything. A storm that was a Category 2 at the evening briefing is a Category 4 by morning. Wind speeds that were within helicopter flight parameters are now 50 miles per hour above the cutoff. The window closes in hours, sometimes less. Once wind speeds exceed safe flight parameters, the helicopter evacuation option disappears. No exceptions, no waivers. The aircraft cannot fly, and the crew on a fixed platform that has not yet completed its shutdown is now working against a hard deadline with no extraction available until the storm passes. Shut in the wells. Verify the pressure readings. Confirm the valve positions. Get out on the last available transport. Or stay. The skeleton crew left to complete the final well shutdown on a fixed platform understands this calculus precisely. There is a sequence of tasks that must be completed, a verification checklist that must be signed, and a departure window that closes regardless of whether the list is finished. Speed matters. Accuracy matters more. A well that is not properly shut in during a major hurricane is not just a financial loss. It is an environmental catastrophe and a structural threat. On DP rigs already underway in transit, the calculation is different but no less stark. The rig is moving. The crew is committed. There is no pulling over, no safe harbor to duck into, no second option once the transit has begun. The thrusters run. The hull cuts through whatever the Gulf sends. And the crew waits. This is the moment the training either holds or it doesn't. Every worker on that rig knows it. The drills, the protocols, the bunk assignments, the muster sequences, all of it was built for exactly this moment. Not for the easy nights, for this one. There is a specific kind of calm that comes after a worker's first major storm. Not the absence of fear, something more useful than that. The unknown becomes known. The body has been through it. The rig held. The protocol ran. And now the nervous system has a reference point it did not have before. Offshore workers develop a psychological posture that is hard to explain to anyone who has not lived it. Trust the protocol. Trust the crew. Let the body rest. It sounds simple. It is not. It is the result of accumulated experience, shared exposure, and the specific kind of confidence that only comes from having done the thing under real conditions. Fatigue management is treated as a safety issue on offshore rigs, not a comfort issue. A sleep-deprived worker makes errors. Errors on a drilling platform during a storm are not recoverable the way they might be on shore. The rig's culture enforces rest as a professional obligation. You sleep because the operation requires it. You sleep because the person on the next shift is counting on you to be functional. And the timing of what happened next? Almost too perfect. Because the workers who slept best during storms were not the ones who were least afraid. They were the ones who had drilled the most, trusted the crew the most, and understood the system well enough to know when to let go of the controls and close their eyes. Think about that for a second. The most dangerous environment imaginable, a floating steel platform in a category storm, and the safest thing you can do is sleep. Not because the danger is gone, because the preparation is complete. The bunk room, however small and loud and vibrating, becomes a sanctuary. Resilience here is not heroic silence. It is the accumulated result of preparation, community, and hard-earned trust in the system built around you. The Gulf workforce is a community forged by shared exposure to the same specific danger. That bond is invisible on shore. Out here, it is total. Every worker on every rig knows someone who has ridden out a storm, lost a paycheck to an evacuation, or stood at a muster station at 3 a.m. with their heart still catching up to their feet. The danger is shared. So is everything built around surviving it. The Gulf doesn't stop for hurricane season. Neither do they. Subscribe so you don't miss what happens next.